The junket began in Los Angeles, 3 days jammed with interviews, photo shoots, video conferences, Q&A sessions, forums with fan bases, and as many talk show appearances as possible, each needing an hour of pre-interviews with the segment producers. Irene saw to it that Rory was well-dressed, well-groomed, and well-versed in what not to do. And there was the trip to the Comic-Con convention in San Diego. Willa Sachs needed a team of bodyguards to keep the fans at bay. Many of them were costumed as Cassandra, the former Secret Service agent with computer chips implanted in her brain, formula-enhanced super-strong sinews, able to communicate subconsciously with the Seven, the extraterrestrials who live among us, aliens who may be good guys, may be bad guys, and who etc., 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 you get the idea. Many Comic-Conners were costumed as the Seven. No one was dressed as Caleb Jackson, pro surfer, software whiz, because no one had seen the movie yet. The fans seemed thrilled at the screening of a 20-minute teaser of the movie, making it a trending topic for most of the day on both Twitter and Pop It. 2 days later, in Chicago, the teaser was screened on the campus of Northwestern University, the alma mater of Willa Sachs herself. Her old dorm was renamed in her honor. Irene steered Rory through 2 days of interviews, a parade, a charity volleyball match, the dropping of a puck at a Blackhawks hockey game, and a screening of the movie to benefit literacy in Africa that was held at the same theater where the gangster John Dillinger had been gunned down. 4 days of junket were held in New York City, starting with a press conference staged in the ballroom of the Waldorf Astoria, attended by 152 media outlets. Rory did not get a question until Willa had talked for 30 minutes, mostly of the challenges of shooting with the new FlitCam digital process and the new SPFX system called Digimax. She was a producer on the film, after all, having optioned the rights to the Cassandra Rampart graphic novel in 2007 for a mere $10,000. She laughed off questions about her husband's investment genius and his supposed bedroom prowess. "Guys," Willa protested, "Bobby is a banker." Bobby was her husband, and he was worth $1.2 billion. Willa told the press that he really was a regular dude who had to be told to take out the trash. That led to Rory being asked, "How does it feel for a guy like you to kiss the most beautiful woman in the world?" "It's a kiss for the ages," he said. Irene smiled, knowing she'd done her work well. The crammed room remained silent, save the clicking of camera shutters. When the press conference ended, Willa was whisked away as more questions were shouted at her. Irene escorted Rory into a smaller ballroom set up with multiple round tables, each crowded with journalists and their microphones. Rory spent 20 minutes at each table, one after another, with no break, answering versions of the same 3 questions. What is it like working with Willa Sachs? What is it like kissing Willa Sachs? Is that really your ass in the hurricane scene? Irene took him to the media center on the 8th floor to sit through a total of 57 television interviews, lasting no more than 6 minutes each, all held in the same room, Rory seated in the same chair, with a one sheet of the movie behind him. In the poster, Willa was staring off into space, a look of ferocious concentration on her beautiful face. Her torso clad in a tight sweater, a rip exposing her shoulder and the top sphere of her left breast. Behind her was a mosaic of images from the movie: an explosion, dark figures running in a tunnel, a massive cresting wave, and Rory wearing a headset and looking at a computer, serious as all hell. "Willa Sachs is back as Cassandra Rampart," was printed in big letters. Rory's name was in the cluttered billing block at the bottom of the poster, in typeface the same size as that of the film's editor. Irene kept him plied with green tea, protein bars, and small bowls of blueberries. The movie was promoted on CBS This Morning the entire week. Every morning at 7:40 and 8:10, Rory reported the national weather in front of a green screen map. Willa was a guest host with Kelly Ripa on Live with Kelly. The two women did Pilates on the air. The premiere of the film was supposed to take place on one of the piers on the Hudson. Special facilities had been constructed with seating for 5,000 people, but a predicted thunderstorm put the kibosh on that. Instead, cinema screens all over the city were booked for simultaneous digital projections of the movie. Rory and Irene were delivered to every one of them by SUV, a total of 29 personal appearances. Willa Sachs attended only the special screening held at the Museum of Natural History to raise money for its programs for young scientists. At the end of 9 days of the domestic press junket, Rory was exhausted, talked out, dizzy. He had seen little more than cars and rooms and cameras. Worst of all, the questions had been the same for 400-plus interviews.